Once an engine attached to each train was feeding a painful stream. It went in the workshop, letting a piston pop, and did not shunt again. The engine's name was Thomas, but he isn't like who we see a lot of times. So he has the same shape, but has hoop stripes on the splashes and cab windows. Not even his buffer beam had a lamp and lampage, a big pipe. He was resting in the shed because he was tired of it. All this shunting makes me forgotten. Why did I get sent to the USA in the first place? Said Pilot Thomas. I guess you're being orphaned, said the driver. I was asked on why you refused to come out of the workshop when you did less of the shunting. Because, driver, I wanted to, like my original self that has the stripes on his cab wind hoops and splashes, see the world, not be stuck with shunting. All the same, this is where I can learn, said Pilot Thomas sadly. Never mind, lad. I'm all right with pulling trees, but on taller trees, not so much. I want to pull an express to strive more, said a tender ensign called Pilot Gordon. He was an easy engine, but like Pilot Thomas, he had lamp lamp, but a steep-headed buffer beam with a big pipe. Plus he had whistle. I'll tell what we can do. We can go to Sodor by rail. I'm sleeping to wait for night time to fall. So I can go to Washington, Pilot Gordon suggested. He whispered something to Thomas. Glad, I'll start shunting still, and maybe I can pull a trade before leaving, piped up Pilot Thomas. It suddenly got him convinced to get out of the workshop to shunt the trees. However, while he shunted the trees from the entrance to tree, he thought about what Pilot Gordon said to him. If he can leave at night, perhaps I should do the same. My manager keeps telling me to stay for this day out with Thomas event that's happening today. He hooped himself. When he finished, he double-headed a train with an engine who was a visitor. Hello, I'm Stevie the second. I heard you were talking about heading to school. I'll help you off this rail and take you to Longdale. You can leave that night, said the visitor. Thank you, that will be nice. The day out with Thomas event happened. The engines acted cold and innocent so as to not raise suspicion from the station master who bought Pilot Thomas. The passengers boarded the train and we would begin the tourist run. Surprisingly, it went well as lemon pieces would clean the floor of a kettle. The first run ended, and when we reached the replica of Thomas that isn't a pirate, CB and Pilot Thomas saw the chance to escape. Running onto the main line, we ran away from the railway, we call it, not waiting for someone to see a pirate escaping. It was the afternoon when we got to Longdale. Pilot Thomas, to thank CB for service, helped with shunting his train before finding some trucks to help with cleaning up the line. He hoped Pilot Gordon was having much luck to make his leave. As he cleaned up the line, he heard some people talking when he shunted his truck in a siding. "What's Thomas doing in Longdale? I wasn't expecting him to visit us when we came back from Texas," said a boy. This got Pilot Thomas laughing. He felt like telling the boy that he was exaggerating, but relented to think children were young and wouldn't understand properly that the boy was a teenager, and he thought he would ring up the authorities to claim he saw him in his suburb. He went back to the shed thinking he should get an early night's sleep. CB came in the shed when he finished for the day. "Is something wrong, huh?" he asked. "Yes, that teen boy, he's recognized me from Texas. He might call the police to get me back," said Pilot Thomas. "That's why I'm getting an early night's sleep. Can you tell who you took me, huh? And saw me from Texas?" "Of course I can. You best wait for night to fall, then you can leave. I got some people who wanted it hooked to Cooper in Wales. But they want to get to Tasmania first," offered CB. "The your replacement crew as yours wanted to drive the replica of Thomas." When Pilot Thomas talked his replacement crew, they told him they were to take him to the island of Sodor to make him welcome, so as to cope with his original self with finding a job and a place to live. He was excited to cope at night that he settled to sleep. When night came, they lit his fire and then took him to Wishington. They put on a lamp so he could see. He had it in front of his funnel as American engines have them set up. It was a long run when he went running on the main line. He looked for the other engine that was either coming up in front or behind. There was a story about the Flying Scotsman nearly scrapped up her, but his fate never happened. His pistons pumped as he ran through the gaps that made the crickety crack noise. There was no other train coming in front or behind, except he wanted to rest somewhere if he was feeling puffed out. Oh, I need a drink. I filled up in Longdale, but I'm so small. I need to make 2 stops. This is the second one, he chuffed. Hey, not just that. We need to hide you and give you a good clean-up, said the fireman. Look, there's a suburb of Gumbasia. Maybe we can stop there for drink. So we did. We stopped by a village, and the driver got off to find a tap after he parked the engine in a siding. He saw one behind a shop, and the bucket who began walking back and forth to fill up his tank. Exploiting the shift, he looked toward within the village. He spotted a car, keeping his distance to not attract its driver's attention in case it was a hunter from Texas. At last he filled up his tank and we continued the journey. Finally, we arrived in Arizona. We could see the next village next to Retreat to Springs. Pilot Thomas puffed for joy when he saw his destination. He couldn't wait to get off America. Just then, he saw Pilot Gordon, who was also heading to Washington. Our wishes have come true. I'll soon get to Sodor. That way, I can thrive with the proper job of Pilot Thomas. But his joy was so wiped when he would reach it. Pilot Thomas stopped for drink, was taking water with a rock before passing on. He listened for danger in case the hunt would come here. Finished with the top up, he entered Washington, finding a line through what appeared to be a desert. Suddenly he stopped. Something said in Wolf's flash, which came from a comic store. His driver walked toward it to have a look. There was a wireless that was talking like mad. It made him worry to run back to his engine. I'd keep quiet in case someone gets a foot to tell the police why you left Texas. It's quite the suburb, but still listen for the siren that couldn't wake it up, said the driver. There's a reason why the suburb's quiet, driver. It's asleep, said Pilot Thomas. Ah, what's this? there was a crate full of line that was delivered, and that gave him an idea, a good idea, to cover up his tracks. My original self's friend Percy had that line on himself, so why not put it on me, suggested Pilot Thomas. His crew thought it a rather sneaky idea, so give it a try. Once he was white, we left Whistleton in time to miss a siren filling up the suburb. His trouble began when he reached where Pilot Gordon escaped from. The rain began to fall, washing off the line. This worried Pilot Thomas. He needed to get in for the line unseen, so he wouldn't get sent back to Texas. As he caused the case to thrive, not under the watchful eyes of the law, he listened for the siren that was becoming louder, as what was causing it was coming nearer to his line of getaway. The police was looking for his trail, looking for the witness to see if he or she had seen the engine that left the day out with Thomas' event. You see that? Said the fireman. They're talking about scrapping you for escaping the railway. Now the people who your visitor all do, except the visitors who have. Oh, listen. This mine has a hill it goes down to. We'll let Pilot Thomas who avoid passing. Then, when we're far enough inside, we can steer towards a set of buffers, and then we can have a peaceful running in Tasmania. Who worry about the law? We respect it and follow it at the same time. Never talk on his escape, as we need to silence who's in charge of wanting him scrapped, said the driver cleverly. We did just that. Pilot Thomas saw the buffers, finding them untouchable. They were magic ones that can get anyone to another continent. Oh yes, it was to be kept a secret, as it always is. Having gone through the buffers, he arrived in a wood, which was urging him to see what was at the edge of it. He saw the sign that said Davenport, giving him the realization that he had landed himself in Tasmania. He had the time to enjoy the land of it, as long as he doesn't cause a stir with attracting anyone. However, he didn't have time to argue. He remembered the line was to take him to what destination he could go to. Thomas, why are you missing some stripes on your splashes? Said a voice. Standing in sight, was Bertie the Bat. Oh, hello. I'm not Thomas. I'm Pilot Thomas. I suppose you saw Pilot Gordon too, said Pilot Thomas. I have seen him. Oh, wait a minute. You poof are pilots from America. What are you doing away from it? Asked Bertie, heading to what can take my coat to Tootham in Wales. What's it called? I have some name of a film of a truck that struggled there. I can't get the name of it, said Pilot Thomas nervously. That's White Beach, and it's my belief you're heading to Sodor. What you want to do there is what the Fat Controller needs to do, said Bertie. Help with running a line, but I haven't time to tell you what I'm wanting to avoid. Like cheese, whoever. I'll keep your secret safe. Pilot Gordon said to me about it when he heard the wireless say you escaped Texas. Pilot Thomas left the wharf and went looking for White Beach. Having lost his thirst of scrapping engines, the scrap merchant was furious. When he and the police came to Whistling to find footage of the little engine that was her, a military coup, they searched everywhere they could, even the track. Luckily for Pilot Thomas, none of them would believe a mine was magic. The police then looked in the crate to find a pack of line missing from the other packs, just as the wireless was talking like mad, saying the small engines in Tasmania. Having listened to this news flash, we checked the dogs, but every time we talked to them, we had a word of, sorry, we have no record of a smaller blue engine that took a ship to Tasmania. The scrap merchant and police were baffled. How can Pilot Thomas get to Tasmania when he wasn't taking any of the ships? After looking, we said to the merchant that he was wasting their time looking for him, and if he ever called them again, he'd be in prison. This meeting more furious and even determined to get the engine, he decided to take the ship himself if who were to help him. Meanwhile, in Sodor, Pilot Thomas was resting by a tall, taking a drink by a station platform, taking in the scenery to see what was unseen from him. He saw the knob of entry that was creaking, a passenger train that came to a sudden stop. It happened to be Thomas, who was surprised to see his pilot south. Percy said to me he saw you from Devonport talking to Bertie. What are you doing in Tasmania, away from America? Asked Thomas. I escaped Texas because I was tired of shunting trees. Wanting to pull a tree I was, and was wanting to see the world like you have, said Pilot Thomas. A scrapmaker was after me, true to his habit of wanting me scrapped. I'm heading to White Beach, by the way, but how to get to Sodor after Wales? Thomas remembered Bottas. He helped back to Austria when steaming to the wharf with Bertie. You can find a tree that's got a gap to shoot the buffers behind the shed in Beckton. We're just getting back to Sodor. It's in Fox Avenue, he cried. Great. I like to see the Farquhar everyone talks about. And we can stop the scrapmaker fuel. He's been banned and has violated the rule. Pilot Thomas continued on, looking for Fox Avenue Wood. So, he went through the woods that he'd never treaded in. It got him out to reach it, but just as he was enjoying the run, he picked up a salt from a root beside the line. He had a sinking feeling that it was the scrapmaker that was hunting him. When getting off a ship in Devonport, and not who was he in trouble, he heard sirens and a call, not addressed to him, but to his stalker. Deciding to shake him off, he sped on ahead. Oh, he'd better not get me in Fox Avenue Wood. I must stop him before he stops me, he chuckled. After a number of kilometers, he came to a field. In front of him was a number of houses and a road in front of them. This was called White Beach Valley, which he'd never seen in his life. He looked at the road ahead for a minute. There's no sign of him. I think I've lost him, thought Pilot Thomas. Shh! Look! There he is, whispered the fireman. No! And there's the law pinning his van before pinning him, added the driver. Let's wait till we leave. So we waited. There was a lot of slurring, screaming, and painful impacts from the police tackling him. You're placed under arrest for the illegal kidnapping of a small ensign that has a right to leave without your eyes hitting him. We'll let the court sort you into a life of prison before we send you back to Texas. Its prisons are hungry. Only who sleep in any prison, said a booming voice. It was Pilot Gordon, who came up behind Pilot Thomas. He should sleep in a freezer of a prison. That's where he should sleep till he see his wish in an arbor. Yes, that's where he can sleep in, said Pilot Thomas. Hearing this, the Scrap Merchant tried to free himself, but he was sore from the tackle that he couldn't even move. Once he was taken away, Pilots Thomas and Gordon left to find Fox Arrow Wood. They followed, and a gap in a tree trunk was seen for the others that didn't have one. They steamed forward and began looking for wheels. Pilot Thomas's coal were dropped off, and a second pair took their place to drive him. They could then find a line to get to Sodor across a bridge. The other railway, filled with diesels, wondered what some less detailed engines were doing in their territory. Pilot Thomas hoped this would repeat the history of a chase, so they looked for foremen, always looking for them. A pilot, he told a lazy pair, "You haven't got a roster to work her, as it's diesels that work her," he said. "Look, mate, it may come as a shock to you that I've escaped a scrap merchant from Texas. As I was kidnapped from a toy museum. He went through so much trouble for nothing when being arrested, spending time in a cool prison cell. Who wouldn't want to end up like him," said Pilot Thomas. "Oh, who mean the driver of that was withdrawn before getting scrapped? I sent him to Texas so he would find a job. Believe it or not, he hates my diesels. I don't think you've heard that the two who like being bullied by him," said the foreman, suddenly affected from what Pilot Thomas said about his stalker. The diesel shuddered in agreement. "You may look me to have a water tower and crew, except the hoops used to clean ourselves," said one diesel. "Wheels gave us some coal, so we might top up with water using it," said Thomas. So they did, which was in a shed where diesels were built in. But although they took a drink, they would not have any eye contact with the others that were getting apart. I guess this is why you guys took Hooper, said Pilot Thomas. And that's what it tastes like. Steam engine scrap. But what's this side of a diesel? I don't think we can tell that, mate. We'd rather focus on getting better, said a diesel. Pilot Thomas had a wild guess that diesel, like them, was having the same fate as steam engines, being scrapped. He didn't dare to laugh. When they finished their drinks, they continued. At last, they came to a station called Vickers Toll, not stopping at any of the platforms. They came to their final destination, that was Napford. There were the others that were Thomas and Gordon, with the fat controller, who stared. What are you two doing in my railway? I didn't order you from America, he asked them. Sir, we can explain. These pirates of us came here to find a job and a place to live, said Thomas. Perhaps on Edward's line, my pilot shop can help with the express, said Gordon, if there's a shed for them to rest in. We like to have more runs than less, said Pilot Thomas. You pilots can live as long as you took them, then I can make your shift official. I had a talk with Texas telling me you left it to a scrap market wanting you scrapped, said the fat controller. God can teach me the express as Thomas can teach his pilot self the shunting, said Pilot Gordon. Trucks, it would seem. Hey! One of them is for the mine you fell in, said Pilot Thomas. I can take them there. So he began the shunting, and then take some empty trucks to the mine. While he was there, he, as if he would, saw the hole Thomas fell in the day before, while thinking of the rules, at the same time pushing empty trucks into one siding and pull out full ones from another. He liked this job because it was quite the noisy Texas line. The rocks he was pulling were to be given to a harbour on Thomas's bar line. The trip went well with Pilot Gordon. He was managing the express when he and Gordon double-headed. Sometimes he would take his place or he was ill. At the end of the trip, he knew would find their shirts, Pilot Thomas wanted to rest in the quarry, for he thought it better than Texas's railway. He was looking forward to memory runs in the future, but as months passed, he would avoid people being gossip bags. He hated the subject question on why was he not on telly now. I'm glad I can get more runs. Someone said to me a film of me would come out soon. A documentary would be what comes first. His wife was one of them, would question him about who helped him to long deal. But we can guess who helped him escape Texas.